Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business to business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives. 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank #1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. It's about the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, and how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everybody, it's Seth. On today's show, we have Reid Moncada of Fitted Laundry. Reid is a 23-year-old entrepreneur based in Philadelphia and Los Angeles. He has gone through so much in his young life, from being homeless in high school all the way up through making his way through Penn State and starting a company that is now taking the laundry and consignment industry by storm. Let's get on with the show. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I am here with Reid of Fitted Laundry.
How are you doing?
How's it going, buddy? I first met Reid when he was in college at Penn State. He's a local to the Bucks County area, the Central Bucks area. And he came in and was telling about this whole thing called shoot laundry back then. But, his idea, and we'll talk about what his idea is. I met him then, and things have just gone insane. He's now out in LA in sunny California, but like he was talking in the pre-show, he's been all over the place. He's young, so he can do it. Why not? You only live once, right? So how's it going, Reid? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been busy. I've been stressed, but it's like helpful stress. Always something to do, always meeting cool people. And right now, I am sitting in my apartment in Los Angeles, and half of my room is taken up by people's clothes that aren't mine.
That is interesting. Explain that. Because, well, first of all, explain the basic company, Fitted Laundry. And then we'll go into why you have other people's clothes in your room.
Yeah, of course. So what I launched out of my dorm, so when I was an undergrad at Penn State, I started a laundry pickup and delivery service because I wanted a more convenient way to do laundry. I just had this visceral reaction whenever I had to use like the machines, and I just got to college. I have all these classes. I have a social life, and I'm just like, all my clothes are ruined, and I can't find time. So a few of my friends set forth to build a better laundry service, and over the course of 2 years, it went from an experiment and a side hustle to a full-time gig. When it went from me doing the laundry in my dorm room to then us meeting with and talking to laundromats, to now we are live and operating in 18 cities and growing. I don't own a single washing machine or van. It's all software. But from the beginning days of kind of, at least like in the first 6 months of when I was building this, the vision of what I wanted to build shifted from let's build a better laundry service to let's upend retail and let's create a new way. Let's build a new closet. And so this idea came to me when I was in the basement of my dorm folding my friend's clothes, and I was folding his Breaking Bad shirt, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know he liked Breaking Bad. I've never seen him wear this shirt before. And then it just hit me of like, what else can you learn about someone based off of like the clothes they send in? And it's like I'm looking at their Instagram feed of like, oh, this is the gym that they go to. This is where they work. This is how much they work out. This is how much their closet is worth. And that was just really interesting to me, being in the basement and just abstracting what is the objective thing in front of me and then taking it to another level. And so while that was in the back of my mind, I was building the laundry service, knowing that, and then scaling the laundry service, knowing very well that like this is not what we're going to end up as. And we have just, and in this in the 2 year span of us expanding the laundry service, I've been doing
Mhm.
a lot of R&D and a lot of networking with individuals in the fashion and consignment space, figuring out what value is knowing what's in someone's closet. And initially I thought it was like, oh, we have big data and we can sell big data to retailers. And I was super young and unfocused and just finessing
Mhm.
my way into meetings, and they'd be, yeah, this is interesting, show us what you got, and we wouldn't have anything. And I'm like, oh, well, now we like, people are having these conversations, it's cool, but we have to actually build something that people want. And so before we started going like looking, okay, so B2B isn't the route to start off. So then we started doing a lot of like customer discovery, customer interviews, talking to people about their closet and what the pain points are. And we heard that styling is one, being able to look cool without having to put in the effort. Okay, that's interesting. The one that was the most compelling was resale. And
Wow.
because think about it, like most people that I talk to have in their closet a big trash bag of clothes that they will not wear anymore, that they want to donate or sell, but they don't want to go through the
Ugh.
tedious effort of photographing and then listing it online. I can go into like any different rabbit hole, but I guess ultimately what we've been doing is, so we've been running this front, right, that we're this laundry service, and we are that's what we have right now, and that's what generates revenue. But what I've been working on in stealth is kind of the pieces of technology and the partnership that make this closet of the future possible.
Sure.
So I guess like the novel kind of pieces of technology that we built is a camera app. It goes on any iPhone or smartphone. It's a camera app that sticks into a ring light that goes into a laundromat. That camera's on, and as your clothes, right after your clothes come out of the dryer, we swipe your QR code under the camera, and the camera knows, oh, the following batch of images goes to Seth. And then after the
Oh.
images are taken, we've built this kind of this data pipeline per se that takes that raw image of a garment in the laundromat, removes the background, and then adds in like metadata. So that way, the item is already tagged and organized and categorized without you doing anything. It's all automated.
That
So
makes it so much better because my first thing that goes to my head is privacy, privacy, privacy. But if you're using their data and obviously anonymizing stuff where it needs to be anonymized, but you're also giving them an avenue to say, hey, this is easily consignable with a click of a button,
yeah,
you
and
know.
the first people that we signed up with, I mean, we didn't put any marketing into it. We just emailed our current laundry customers saying, "Hey, we're offering this new service in your city." The first woman we picked up, she sent in 5 trash bags of clothes that she was going to throw away. If she could make a little over $1,000 off of all this stuff. Uh,
That's incredible, dude.
yeah, and so it's been a lot of fun because I mean this is something I do for fun, and now I get to research. And I mean, the more I
Mhm.
research, the more like I realize how disintermediated the market, all the marketplaces are. Like, yes, there's ThreadUp, yes, there's RealReal, there's Goat, there's StockX, there's Poshmark, but there's each of those marketplaces have different audiences, have different types of clothes that you're supposed to sell in it. You have different engagement features, like you have to go on Poshmark and retweet and follow other people in order for your stuff to get listed. And so
Yeah, it's more of a social network for consignment.
yeah. And so, for someone who just wants to get rid of their clothes and make money and not do the work, it's a little bit of work. Like, I mean, it's not, we haven't even automated the process, and I know what to do, and it takes hours. And like most people, and I'm just the one crazy enough to do everyone else's.
But that's what you gotta realize. This is what why entrepreneurs are crazy in the
Yeah.
best way possible, is that like you were doing laundry,
Oh, no, it
other
was,
people's laundry in your dorm room. Now look, now you're manually consigning people's stuff. I'll talk to you probably in a month or two. You'll say, dude, it's automated. I'm like, of course it's on. You can't keep it on if everything's manual. You
yeah.
can't.
Yeah. But I think that is like, especially in the age of like, I don't know. Now that capital is so available, more so than it ever was, of people that are my age that are being able to like raise like ungodly amounts of money.
Yeah.
Is I mean, one day, what you really need to prove is like that minimal viable product. And so it's like, how
Mhm.
can you get something out there? And so like, while we have an engineering team building like this pretty sophisticated piece of software, but before that's fully built out, I have to go and validate it, and I just use a Notion, and it's like that's the same experience.
Ugh,
And
I
going
love
back,
Notion.
And going back to the idea of like the amount of times I just feel like utterly stupid. I'm like, this is all going to work out. Like I'm a junior in college. It's Friday night. Everyone's out partying. And here I am getting back from work at 2 a.m. to go fold laundry for another hour and a half. You could not imagine how silly I felt, but I just knew that like, okay, this happens for a reason.
Yeah,
I've listened to this part and how I built this. So like, okay, that's my journey.
exactly. And even more of your journey. Let's go back a little farther. Let's go back. I mean, you grew up in Central Bucks.
Hmm.
You went to CP West, right?
Correct.
So in high school wasn't exactly normal for you. You had some ups, you had some downs, you had some lefts, you
Hmm.
had some rights, and then look at where you are now. And that just kind
Yeah.
of goes to show that adversity breeds ambition,
Yeah.
and in a good way.
No, 100%. And I mean, so my story growing up, so I had like the typical middle class lifestyle. My dad worked in New York, typical insurance job, white collar. He was an immigrant as well, so like he moved in when he was 6 from the Philippines, and had kind of just built up his from the ground up. But when I was 14, he was laid off from his job and wasn't able to find work for a little over a year. And in that
Oof.
time is when, we burned through the savings, uh, and it kind of like snowballed into like, oh, we don't have electricity this night. Wonder what happened. Or we don't have cell reception. Us getting evicted from our home, he said pack for a week when then we'll be somewhere. And then that week ended up being 3 years of not
Oh
having a
my
stable
God.
home. And everything I owned was sold off in a storage auction. Our family packed everything we had and our 70-pound
Yeah.
dog. And
70-pound dog.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So
And
how many siblings did you have?
I have four siblings, including myself. Two of them made it out before kind of the whole situation happened, but they
But still,
were
all right, so you have two plus a 70-pound dog and a mom and a dad.
correct.
But let's highlight 70-pound dog's not a small dog.
Yeah, and so we were sneaking Izzy into like hotels that didn't have that weren't allowed to have dogs, which is kind of funny looking back at it. But I think that yeah, and don't get me wrong, it was like a struggle, and like it was. I had my golf banquet that was across town, and I was I was the varsity letterman, and we couldn't make it because we didn't have enough gas to get across town. So it was brutal. But like that's what made me me, and I think that what I always took to heart was my mom would always say like we're gonna look back at this and laugh. This is gonna make you so much stronger. And I easily could have succumbed to the situation and turned to drugs or just felt bad on myself and not really kind of put forth the effort. That was like a 3 year period of fight or flight, which I think is like, especially in those times, like when I'm growing, it's now like a permanently embedded sense of fight or flight that I have in me. And that's the kind of where I get the drive.
Yeah.
So, I worked 3 jobs to one, put on the front that I was living a normal life to all of my friends, and then two, to help, put food on the table. And I worked 3 jobs. I worked at a bunch of restaurants. I caddied, and I was super fortunate that one of my jobs of caddying granted me the opportunity to attend Penn State on a full tuition and housing scholarship. When I found out they had a full tuition and housing scholarship for caddies, I caddied because it was a way for me to get free paid and free golf. It was
Yeah.
flexible hours. I'm making like $40-$50 an hour cash under the table, and it was a great gig. And I just like learned how to network and schmooze with rich people. So when I got that and I went to Penn State, that was that sense of like ambition of like, I
Hmm.
shouldn't be here right now, and I am, and I'm gonna make the most of it. And so like before I started the business, I was attempting a double major and a triple minor, and I loved it. Even though I had like I was doing a double major in finance and economics and a triple minor in Chinese entrepreneurship and astronomy. Like it was some of my favorite times because I would just absorb,
Wow.
like love
Taking
learning.
it the bull by the horn there.
Yeah, and that
Wow.
was
That's
the
awesome.
thing is like I had this burning fire under my ass, and I had friends that were just
Mhm.
skipping classes. I thought I wanted to work in banking, and I loved the hustle of like networking really hard, getting that really coveted job, and I
Mhm.
love that competitive process. I think it brought out a lot in me, but when it came down to like actually doing the work of like banking, when I wasn't looking at when I only wanted to look at like tech companies, and then when they made me look at
Mhm.
like random oil sands or random like manufacturing company, I was like, this is so boring. I could never do this. And that's when I started looking into venture capital more. Then I caught the startup bug, and then it was just kind of all downhill from there.
That's- Oh my God. It's kind of almost like you had an adventure in high school.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm still on an adventure now.
but the thing is, like, this one day I think you'll have a book ready for this. I mean, this is definitely a book,
Yeah,
because from adversity.
I haven't built anything great yet, but I think I'm on the way. Where I am compared to 3 years ago, I'd be like baffled, would not believe it. But then
I
also,
can't believe it, dude. I
but
got on
the
this call with you, and all of a sudden I'm like, you have laundry behind you. Like, no, that's consignment. And I met you like what, a year and a half ago, like maybe right before the pandemic, and like you were just getting started and all that. And now it's like in a year and a half, it's like, holy crap, you've grown a lot.
yeah, yeah. But also at the same time, it's like I haven't like I mean, or at least it's all relative, right? Like the
It's all relative.
like like I would not believe how far I've come in like 2 years. If you told me when I started this is where I'd be now, I'd be laughing hysterically. But at the same time, it's like the end zone's always moving, and so the people that I'm surrounding myself with now are founders that are 20 and have raised like crazy. I mean, I don't want to say that raising money is the only benchmark, but like for some, like I guess the stage is kind of like the next level of validation. Or like I have friends that like off of 3 weeks of work on an NFT project and make $4 million, and I'm like, what am I doing? And it's like these are the people that I'm benchmarking with. But like also, if you're not the smartest person in the if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I'm just consistently going out and just like finding really, really smart people that I like hanging out with, because it makes me feel dumb. And I kind of like that, because then it's like I have so much to learn. And that's like that's the whole fun part of
Soak it up, man. Because when you turn 40 like me, it goes in one ear out the other.
it.
No, your brain just turns to mush. I mean, you're not even 25, so your amygdala
I
hasn't
can't
fully
I
formed.
can't even rent a car yet without paying these insane fees.
And so Reid, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, read a book. The O's are zeros.
I love it. But
You can find me on Twitter, Reid_Moncada. Follow us on TikTok.
it's Fit Laundry everywhere, right? Like,
Yeah,
like everywhere. It's
fittedlaundry.com. And then what else? If you're in LA or Philadelphia and need your clothes consigned or want something to sell, we can do that. Or if you're in 18
Ooh.
cities and need your laundry done, we will come pick it up and do it for you. Use code Reid Insider for I think 50% off your first order.
Reid Insider. Listen
Yeah.
to that. Reid Insider. REID.
Yes.
I know Reid with 2 E's. So REID Insider. Sweet, Reid. This is awesome. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. That was a great show. Hey, if you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please give us a review on the podcast directory of your choice. We're on all of them. And these reviews really help others find the show. Also, if you're getting value from the show and want to buy me a coffee, go to the show notes and click on the link to help me stay awake while I bring you more great episodes to your ears. That's in the show notes, and I look forward to the next episode. Take care, guys.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Sean Swaim hosts a great podcast called SEO Last Week. Sean, tell us what these fine folks will get when they listen.
Anybody who listens to SEO Last Week will get all the updates of what's going on in the world of SEO in about 15-20 minutes or so that way you can stay up to date with what's going on Google without having to dig through 60 different blogs to do so.
That is super useful. Where can people subscribe?
Hey, we try to keep things simple. You can subscribe at Marketing Podcasts with that second S.net, or you could just search for SEO Last Week wherever you get your podcasts from.
You heard him, folks. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.